All right, I've been meaning to do a NFL draft simulation, so I'm going to do it today. We are going to be controlling the Detroit Lions. Obviously, I'm a Lions fan. I live in Michigan, and I do this every year. I've hit on guys like Penei Sewell before. I've hit on Jack Campbell. There's a lot of guys in the past that the Lions have drafted that I have also had in my mock drafts. So, yeah, let's get into this year's 2026 NFL draft simulation. Let's have some fun. The Lions need a lot of things. They obviously, in my opinion, they need a center, a left guard, and I do think they should start looking at a left tackle. I do believe an edge is always cool. Our defensive backs, we're going to need some because looks like Kirby Joseph, his injury is real bad. He might not ever play again, I'm hearing. I don't know how true that is. Brian Branch is going to start the year hurt, I've heard, and Terrion Arnold's going to start the year hurt. Okay, so the guard from Penn State is there. Arvil Reese is there. That's interesting. That's interesting. We're losing Anzalone, I think, so Sonny Styles is there. Both the Ohio State guys are there. Both of them are good, man. What's his profile say? Big body, man. Yeah, this is interesting because I haven't, like I said, used this site before. Actually, this is a really nice site. I like this website. Like, let me look at his profile. 6 foot, 187. Only 2 interceptions. I don't really want a corner this high up, though. I'd really like a tackle. Really, really like a tackle. I don't think he's the guy. The guys that I think are most intriguing here are the Ohio State linebackers. My friend Nate loves this guy. So I will take him to satisfy him. I will satisfy him. I'm going to draft Ione. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. But that'll be nice. We still need a center. Centers you can usually get in the second and third round. I think the Lions definitely have to come out of this draft with a safety. Sadiq? Wow, falling into the second round, it looks like. Yep. Sonny Styles gone to the Jets. Oof. Lots of interesting names still. I like Jake Slaughter. I do like him. That was a guy I had on my radar not long ago. I could get my guy, and then I think the offensive line is set for at least one more year. Oh, the guy, I love Trotter. Love him. I think he's good. I really like Rodriguez. So, I mean, look at this. 6'1", a little undersized, 231, kind of like Malcolm Rodriguez in that sense. But he's just so good. Like the way I love watching him play. Yeah, like he's got good scores, you know. Doesn't need to be a pass rusher. Interesting they have his tackling down so low. That's interesting to me. I've been talking about him since like mid last season. I think he was a Heisman. Wasn't he 5th in the Heisman? Trotter, again, love this guy. Just obviously beast. I'm assuming he's related to Jeremiah Trotter. I'm assuming this is his son. Coverage is not his strong suit, which, again, I've seen video of him just destroying runs, destroying offensive linemen to fill gaps. And I love that. And he might be more specialized. He might be a guy that if you get him, maybe he doesn't play his first year much other than like goal line situation, possibly. I don't know. I love those guys, though. What's out here? We don't need a quarterback, but I do want to look. Okay. Running backs. All right. I'm not worried about them guys either. Any good tight ends? Yeah. They're all right. It's whatever. Is this where I go for the safety? There's just not. I think we go, and I think we're gonna take Slaughter here. He to me makes the most sense because Ragnall's gone, you know, and the Lions definitely needed it. They need a center, so let's go with him. It might be a touch premature, but at the same time, I think you're getting probably the best center in the draft, so I like that. And we'll just keep the defensive backs up and see what makes sense here in a little bit. But again, I think that right there, now the offense is going to be ready to be the Lions we know. They're going to play how we're used to. So I like that. I'm looking at defensive back especially here. Looks like my linebackers are still there. Okay. What about edge rushers? Barham. Obviously, as a Michigan fan, that's intriguing to me, but he's not supposed to go up high. There's nobody really there I'm looking at. Need a corner. I'd really like a safety, though. I think this is where I take my guy Thomas here. Yeah, see, zone slot, nickel safety. So I was just telling my buddy earlier today that I'm starting to want this guy. So I think I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to go with my gut. My gut says to take the guy I like. I know there's other safeties higher up, but I think I got to go with my gut. Probably going to end up being a great player. So now that we did that, we probably still need a corner because, again, we got 3 guys out. I'd still love to get a left tackle. At this point, I'm also not worried about middle linebacker or linebackers in general. There's going to be some good depth there, but I really think you can get some good corners and stuff in, you know, these mid to late rounds. So that's kind of where I'm going to keep looking, I think. I'd like to walk away with a linebacker. Is this the guy who was like on everyone's radar a year ago? I think he is. He's got good size. Very good size. Yeah, maybe he's the guy I go for. Kind of like that. I kind of do. I think I already took my safety. I did, so at this point, I'm looking at corners. TJ Hall. He might be the guy. Look, Iowa just puts guys into the NFL. Like, when it comes to defense, you can almost never go wrong with an Iowa guy. So, you know what? I like him. He's got decent size. I know it's a reach. I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to go for him. I'm going to keep an eye on him. That's who I'm thinking, though. I'm going for Red Murdoch. It just seems like he, for me, makes the most sense right here. So let's see what we get in next round. TJ Hall is the guy on my list. So let's see what we get here. Okay. This is 186. Linebacker again. He's still here? Wow. I love Jimmy Rolder. He was great for Michigan. He was so good last year. So good. Didn't he have a couple interceptions? It doesn't show interceptions. That's interesting. I feel like the coverage should maybe be a touch higher, but I mean, he's an athlete. Yeah. I like him. I don't know. That would be a crazy pick. Good size. How was his 40? 4.68? Not horrible. Not horrible. A fast corner right here, or safety. This, you know what? I could do that. I could double down on safety, which then we get two safeties. Branch and Joseph aren't starting week 1. You could go out and sign like a guy like Melifonwu, who's familiar with Detroit. Bring him in. You get a rookie starting next to him. You got a depth rookie safety. That makes a lot of sense. Can this guy play nickel at all? Yeah, man zone slot nickel safety. That's our kind of guy. I'm gonna do it. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy. Here we go. Coming up on another pick here soon. Jimmy Rolder's still there. My Iowa corner's still down there. I think I'm liking that. Because right now, those are my two favorite guys on the board. Jimmy Rolder and then the Iowa corner, TJ Hall. So you got Rolder. I've got... Next pick is in like 10 picks. TJ Hall's down there. Maybe I can fall in love with another guy. 5'10", 185. Not the size I like. I like taller. I like him to be about 6 foot. Really fast 40, though. That's interesting. Nice 10 cone. Maybe this Missouri corner. I'm not hating what I see here. It is the size issue. It is the size. You know what? We're changing corners. I'm gonna like him. Let's ride with him. That 40 time, that's intriguing. That is intriguing. I do get blinded by speed. I do. Let's go back and look at TJ Hall. He has good height. Speed wasn't the best, but Kalon Black. He played hard. Wow, pretty good 40. Nothing stands out as, anything crazy, but he could totally be like a Montgomery kind of guy. With Montgomery not being the happiest lately, he could make sense. This would make sense too. Kayshawn Elliott. The Lions still need a tackle as well. Okay, love Samoans. So, his height's a little bit of an issue, but maybe he could be a guy that you move to right tackle and you put Panay at left tackle? Maybe? 6'6", 309. Okay, I like him. Let's go for Trey Zoom. It's funny how you can just tell when you see the guy's height. You're like, oh, no, that's a right tackle, that's a left tackle. You know what? I'm liking this draft. I feel like I've addressed some needs. I feel pretty good. It really is just going to come down to who's there in the last round for me now. Yeah, so here we are. Last round. I could make it. See, here's the thing you have to remember, too. Detroit is going to work out all those guys in the Great Lakes area. That could leave a guy like Jimmy Rolder. Looking at best available guys, there's interesting names. Pavia. I can't imagine him getting drafted. He's not. He is so small. I don't think he's going to be very good in the NFL. What about this Wyoming kid? Ooh, nice 40. Okay. That 40 was nice. 6'6". Could he be a good tight end for us? Wyoming is not exactly a powerhouse in football. I kind of like that idea. I kind of want to go for the homer pick with Jimmy Rolder, too. You know what? I think I'm going to go for the Wyoming guy. I don't know what it is. I'm having a feeling about it. Just seems like a good pick. All right, so here's what we did. We went with the guard out of Penn State. That was more of a tribute pick to my buddy Nate. We followed up by solidifying our center spot. I think Jake Slaughter could be the replacement for Frank Ragnow that'll last us the next 10 years. We then went with a pick that today, or the last couple of days, has gotten hot for me. That's Jacoby Thomas out of Miami. I did watch a few Miami games this year, and I think he kind of fits that Brian Branch mold. And with Brian Branch being hurt, Kirby Joseph being hurt, Terrion Arnold stuff, it just seems to make sense that we needed some secondary help, and I think he could be a great one. If the Lions go out and sign Melifonwu, which would be awesome, I think now you've solidified that back end again with some depth. And, I think, again, Jacoby Thomas could be a stud, could be a steal in the 4th round. Red Murdoch, a linebacker that I think could be very good at the next level. He does come out of the MAC. The MAC is a little bit weaker, but I do think having a guy that can step in to at least fill in the role of Anzalone. Obviously, you still have Barnes and Campbell as your starters. Right now, we still have Rodrigo. So this guy isn't going to necessarily be expected as a 5th round pick to come in and start, but he'll get some snaps on defense, I think. Next, I went with another safety, very similar to Jacoby Thomas. Now, again, he might be better than Thomas. I don't know. These two, it's like give or take. I think both could be great. I did watch a lot of Notre Dame games. Big CJ Carr fan. So again, I couldn't pass on him. I just felt he was too good in the 6th round to pass on. This guy is a new one for me I didn't watch any Missouri games. But Toriano Pride Jr., looking at the profile on here, they made him sound amazing. He kind of checked all the boxes for me. So, in what I like in corners. So, again, you take a guy like this in the 6th round, you're hoping he's a solid player. If somehow he becomes a starter, that's a win-win. Then I went with a tackle, Trey Zune III out of Texas A&M. Not real familiar, to be honest. Haven't watched his tape. But again, they made him sound great on here. Lions, I think, need to start thinking about who's going to replace Taylor Decker. In the 6th round, you're kind of just hoping for depth at this point. But, could this be a development pick? Maybe. I don't know. He's a left tackle, so... And then in the 7th round, I took a flyer on a tight end with a very good 40 speed. Sam Laporta's hurt a lot. Being honest, I love Sam Laporta. He's always injured, though. It's like a constant thing that he's struggling with. And, again, with our coach, Dan Campbell, being a former tight end, I think, there's that. Our offensive coordinator came from Arizona. They have developed tight ends. So, in fact, I believe they developed one of the best tight ends this last year. So, again, giving him a project guy, a guy who runs a great 40, might be a mismatch nightmare. I just thought that might be a good deal there. Those were my picks for my very first 2026 no-trade NFL mock draft. I'll do more between now and the NFL draft, but again, I want to know what you think about these picks below. Do you think there's guys I missed on? Do you think some of these guys are just not very good? I really, really, really would love to have that conversation with you in the comments. And if you're new here, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.